They're basically arguing this financial ceiling isn't really about lack of effort at all. It's what they call a coherence issue, a kind of break in the energetic signal you're sending out.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting, maybe unexpected. If you can figure out how to prompt an AI
Yeah.
effectively, give it clear instructions,
Yeah.
then you're starting to understand how to prompt the universe itself.
And lately, you've told us you're feeling this, well, specific kind of burnout. You're putting in the work, doing all that hard Newtonian stuff, action, action, action with your finances. But it feels like you just keep hitting this invisible wall, this ceiling. Like the effort isn't quite connecting to the results.
Yeah, that feeling it's incredibly common, being stuck in that grind.
Yeah.
And our sources today have pretty, wild explanation for it. They're basically arguing this financial ceiling isn't really about lack of effort at all. It's what they call a coherence issue, a kind of break in the energetic signal you're sending out.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting, maybe unexpected. They suggest the best way to understand and actually use these universal laws of wealth is through artificial intelligence, like the totally logical, unbiased lens of AI.
Whoa, okay, hold on. Let's unpack that because, that's a huge claim right there. You're saying AI, one of the most advanced bits of tech we have, is somehow the perfect mirror, proving that reality is basically just input-output, like a giant computer.
That's the core idea, yeah. If you can figure out how to prompt an AI effectively, give it clear instructions, then you're starting to understand how to prompt the universe itself. That's the mission for this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're looking into this quantum shift. Why most attempts at, say, manifestation kind of fizzle out? Because the input is just too vague. Why your heart, biologically, is actually a way better antenna for this than your brain.
Yeah.
And, the really practical bit, how someone apparently used an AI voice clone, like from 11 Labs, to literally create and sort of lock in a new wealth identity.
Right, that blend of ancient ideas and super modern tech is... Yeah, it grabs you. So let's start at the beginning. The sources root this in a really old principle, don't they? Hermeticism.
They do. It comes down to all is mind. The basic idea is that the universe isn't just random stuff happening. It's more like a giant, incredibly intelligent mental field. And the fascinating link they make is connecting this ancient idea straight to AI logic. This field operates on input and output. It responds precisely to the mind that's observing it.
That's a powerful comparison. But, AI is a machine, right? Built on code, algorithms. The universe feels, organic, infinite. Is the source really saying the universe is that cold, that computable? Or is AI just the best metaphor we have right now to get our heads around cause and effect?
It's more the latter, I think. AI is the metaphor for unbiased operation. Unlike us humans, we get tangled up in history, emotions. AI doesn't care. It has no bias against your prompt. It just gives you what you ask for based on the input. And the universe, in this view, operates with that same kind of ruthless logic.
Which leads us straight to why most people, fail when they try to manifest change, especially financial change. They're sending the universe what the source calls messy, contradictory code. It's like prompting an AI saying, write me an amazing business plan, but also list 3 reasons it's definitely going to fail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the problem right there. That vague, contradictory quantum prompt. You're asking for this amazing outcome, but at the same time, you're embedding fear, scarcity, right into the request. The human version is that classic line, isn't it? I really, really want this huge contract, but man, I'm worried about rent this month.
Right.
Your dominant internal feeling, your core prompt, is actually fear, worry, maybe struggle. So the output, because of this law of cause and effect, it just has to be more struggle, more lack.
So the universe, acting like this giant logical machine, doesn't really differentiate. It doesn't judge positive versus negative. It just picks up on the strongest, most coherent signal we're putting out. If fear is the loudest part of that code,
that's what gets run. That's what compiles into your reality.
Yeah.
So to change the output, your wealth, your circumstances, you absolutely have to refine the input. And that input is fundamentally your self-concept, your energy.
Okay, so the AI mirror tells us ambiguity, that messy code is the enemy of getting results. We need crystal clear input for crystal clear output. How do we actually do that internally? How do we clean up the code? This seems to be where quantum coherence comes in. What does that mean practically?
Coherence, yeah. Fundamentally, it just means synchronization, like everything working together. Applied to you, the person, means your system, specifically your thoughts, your mind, and your emotions, your heart, are totally aligned, vibrating together. The sources really stress this. It's the only way to send out a really clear, high-power prompt to the universe.
And this is where the science gets quite cool, actually, linking the quantum idea back to our biology. You see researchers like Dr. Joe Dispenza showing again and again that the electromagnetic field from your heart is
Yes.
measurable, and it's way, way stronger than the brain's field, like up to 5,000 times stronger.
That's absolutely
Okay.
critical, yeah.
Yeah.
Your heart is like the main broadcast antenna here.
Yeah.
It's not just about what you think. It's the energy, the frequency of what you feel. So coherence happens when you take an elevated thought, like a really clear, powerful statement, I am a magnetic millionaire,
Oh.
feel, and you truly marry it to an elevated emotion. You actually feel the gratitude, the security, the certainty of already having it.
Right, that unified thought and feeling signal. That's what talks clearly to the 0-point field.
Yeah. Okay, for anyone listening who's maybe not familiar with that term, the 0-point field,
Yeah.
what are we talking about there?
You can think of it as like the cosmic operating system,
Mm.
or maybe the source code of all potential reality. It's this infinite energy backdrop where literally everything, success, failure, wealth, lack, exists as potential, as these waves of probability. And this field, it's intelligent, it responds, but it needs a clear signal from you to collapse one of those potential waves into your actual lived reality. Okay, so if everything's already out there as a possibility, how do we make sure we collapse the right wave? And why doesn't just pure willpower, trying to force it, usually work? People try that all the time.
Because the wave only collapses into reality when it meets a coherent observer. That's you. If you're stuck operating from fear or scarcity, or you're trying to muscle your way through what the sources call forcing is friction, you're just sending out static, a
Yeah.
noisy, fragmented signal. Willpower, ironically, often comes from a place of lack, doesn't it? It's that internal push that's really screaming, I don't have this yet, so I must push harder.
That's a really key distinction. So the feeling of frantic effort actually confirms the reality of struggle. Instead of confirming the reality of abundance or ease, pushing harder collapses the timeline of more pushing.
Absolutely. The field isn't responding to your effort, your struggle. It responds to your integrated energy, your coherence. The secret to wealth, then, in this framework, is becoming clearer, energetically clearer, not pushing harder. The moment your internal prompt is truly coherent, the external reality it reflects that logic.
Okay, so if the quantum field reads our coherence, our energy, then the next logical thing is shifting not just what we feel moment to moment, but shifting who we fundamentally believe we are. The sources make this interesting point about moving focus from healing content, always digging into the past, towards identity content, proactively building the future self you want to be.
Exactly. And this is where the AI mirror becomes really practical. The digital twin principle,
Yeah.
it's a concept from like advanced engineering. They build these perfect virtual models, digital twins, to simulate and test how something will work in the future before they build it physically. Your job, according to these sources, is to build a millionaire digital twin right inside your own consciousness, and then run that simulation constantly.
And that's not just like wishful thinking. There's actual neuroscience behind that with neuroplasticity. By consistently thinking, feeling, acting as if you are that digital twin, you're doing mental rehearsal, essentially.
Precisely. You are literally rewiring your brain, strengthening the neural pathways for that new identity. Think about your subconscious. It runs what, like 95% of your life. It's broadcasting this hidden signal constantly. So by repeatedly engaging with this millionaire digital twin, you're basically coding a new default operating system for yourself, making that wealthy identity the path of least resistance eventually.
Right. Now, to make this less theoretical, the source material included a specific story, right, about how this was actually put into practice using tech. Someone was stuck hitting that ceiling we mentioned, and they asked that ultimate quantum prompt, okay, who do I actually need to become to be a millionaire?
Yeah, and the insight they got was really striking. It wasn't about, needing a new business strategy or hiring someone. It was purely about frequency, about the tone, the authority, the calm confidence of this future self. The person realized their current internal voice, their self-talk, was maybe hesitant, a bit desperate even, which is the definition of messy code.
So they realized the actual sound of their internal prompt was off, out of alignment. What did they do? Like practically, how did they try to fix that broken signal?
They used AI voice synthesis, specifically a tool like 11 Labs, apparently. They crafted an ideal script, what this millionaire self would sound like with its ATO, and then used the AI to clone a voice that embodied that specific quality, that calm, magnetic authority. And this AI voice that narrated, guiding principles, affirmations, and embodying that new millionaire identity.
Right. That's a pretty radical application. They didn't just think about the millionaire self. They used a machine to create a tangible digital thing, an audio blueprint that represented and externalized that new identity.
That's the absolute key takeaway, I think. The power wasn't just in the audio file itself. He was in the act of creating it. They had to use the machine's logic, clear input for clear output, to make this external thing. And by forcing themselves to provide that precise, coherent input to the AI, they were simultaneously cementing that new input within their own system, giving the quantum field the clear signal it needed.
Wow. Okay, so this really moves way beyond just saying vague affirmations. It's like precise, coherent programming, almost using technology as a tool to force that internal shift. So for listeners wanting to apply this right now, what's the actionable formula? How can we activate that digital twin daily?
Right, we boiled it down to this Millionaire Prompt Formula. It's designed to help you bypass that limited, maybe fearful current self. Here's the prompt. What would the millionaire me, my digital twin, instruct the current me to do today to solve this problem?
That's a great question because it forces your brain to jump, doesn't it? From that low level, maybe fragmented, thinking, oh no, how do I pay this? To the resourceful, higher level perspective of the future self. Okay, the millionaire me has systems for this. They'd prioritize action X. It encourages action driven by alignment, not just blind effort.
Exactly. And if we tie all this together, the big picture message seems really clear. Manifestation or creating wealth isn't really about getting something you want. It's about becoming the version of you who already has it, who operates from that place, and so doesn't need to chase anymore.
Right.
And the absolute key is coherence, aligning thoughts, feelings, actions into one clear, unified signal. And remember, that has to be a full-body, full-system shift, because that subconscious programming, that 95%, is broadcasting its own signal whether you realize it or not.
That's incredibly empowering, actually. You're not chasing wealth. You're just waiting for reality to catch up to the coherence of your digital twin.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you to chew on this week, something that really digs into the deepest implications here. We're often taught, that the quantum field is this external thing we interact with. But maybe the deeper truth is that you're already entangled with it. You are the field. You are the wave. You're the observer and the observed all at once.
Which brings up the ultimate question, doesn't it? What's one daily action you could take starting today that really recognizes you are already the wave, not the person standing on the shore waiting for the wave to come in? That acceptance of your own power, your own sovereignty. Maybe that's the ultimate shift. From seeking to simply being.